Hello guys!
We are so glad to see you again. Today we are going to be talking about
our life story.
The story of our life starts in
2001 when my mom had her first child.
So when I was born, I was not actually born in a hospital. I was born at home, and basically my mother got a midwife to help her deliver the baby, which was me.
There was no use of medical drugs
and tranquilizers and anesthetics, etc. So it was completely natural birth.
Yes. She decided to give him an original name that no one in the world has.
That name is Gan.
Exactly.
My name basically means like a garden or a park that is full with trees and flowers and a lake. Maybe even ducks, you know? Something very beautiful.
And my mom chose it because she was like, I want an original name, but I want it to sound like other names, you know, like Ben, Dan, and then Gan sounds similar. He was the only person named Gan in the world until 2 years ago when we found out there is a Facebook group called All the People Named Gan, and there's like 30 members in that group.
There were 30 different mothers who had the same original idea.
Still, it's
impressive.
A rare name, but it exists.
Well, I can tell you nobody that I've ever met has ever met another person with that name. Then I was very lonely, so my mother decided that on my dad's birthday, which was the 27th of March 2004, she was going to give birth to another baby.
So also with my name, my mom wanted something original.
So what she decided was to name her Offi. Now Offi is a word in Hebrew which means personality, because the idea was that she has a very unique personality, which is very true.
Yeah, this time my mom succeeded and no one else in the world has this name.
Now, something very interesting about our childhood, which you're going to see when we continue talking about it, is that we come from a very natural family. Obviously, like we said, we were born at home. But another interesting and special thing about our childhood is that we never got vaccines.
Yes. So babies, when they reach some age, they get a lot of vaccines.
Like maybe 2 years old. It's very common that babies get certain vaccines.
Yeah, but we never got them.
By the way, my sister was also born at home. The only difference was
that I was born at the home of the midwife, not at our actual home.
And I remember the day when my mother went away to give birth to my sister. I was waiting for her to come back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. When we went to kindergarten, we went to a private kindergarten, and I have one very interesting memory, which was that every morning the father of one of the children would come and tell us stories, and also sometimes the teachers would tell us very interesting stories that I don't think in most kindergartens they tell. Do you think they tell it?
I don't remember any stories, so I don't know.
Well, to me it was very unique.
I can say that in my kindergarten experience, they taught us a lot more than you usually learn in kindergarten, I think, because when I got to 2nd grade, I actually went to school for 1 month just to try, and everyone didn't know things that I already learned in kindergarten, so I was like, okay, weird.
So at one point, around the time that my sister was 5 years old and I was around 8 years old and we were already homeschooled, we went with our mother to the supermarket, and then we started running around all the aisles of the supermarket and making a lot of noise. And our mother realized that what was happening is that we were eating a lot of sugar.
Sugar usually can make people too energetic.
When you eat a lot of sugar, it gives you a lot of energy, and it's uncontrolled energy basically, so you have to get it out. When you have too much energy, you're going to act a bit crazy or hyperactive, but it's not actually a natural behavior for kids. The reason that a lot of kids tend to be hyperactive is because they eat too much sugar, but if you actually just let kids eat healthy food, they will not be hyperactive.
Yeah, they might be like active like kids, but not screaming and running around and their energy never ends.
That's what our mother realized, and that's what she explained to us.
So our mom took us to a family meeting, and she explained to us what sugar does to the body and how it makes you over energetic. And after it, she started explaining to us how
what's the problem with processed foods, because also like eating too much bread or too much pasta can also be bad for you. These foods are actually not what people ate in the old days of humanity when evolution happened. Our bodies developed to digest or to process certain foods that we eat, but the foods that we ate then are not the same thing as the foods that a lot of people eat now, like bread and pasta.
Sugar, preservatives, flavoring, food coloration.
All these things, basically the body doesn't know what to do with it, and then it gets stuck in different areas of the body and disturbs their functioning.
So that's when we were like, makes sense. We want to eat healthy. But then we were like, hey mom, there's a little problem. It's too delicious. What are we gonna do? So then in our family meeting, we got to the conclusion that we should eat 2 sweets a week. So we will have weekly sweets, 2 for each of us. We can eat them whenever we want. We called it sweets, but it also includes snacks
Like
in
chips,
general.
Doritos.
So it was a very fun thing that we always were like, this is my weekly sweet, what is your weekly sweet? And it was one of the most used words in the house.
And we always like enjoyed savoring it because you can only have 2 of them every week, so it's actually a lot more exciting than if you have like 5 times a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it was pretty epic. And then we started having this rule that you can save your sweet for next week. So next week you will have 3 sweets. And you would like save for next week and next week and next week. Until at some point it basically stopped eating sweets forever. And until this day it has about 100,000 weekly sweets saved. And it didn't eat sweets for the past few years.
Yeah, that's a lie. I actually ate like 10 sweets in the last 5 years, something like that. So another very interesting thing about our life is that we were always very independent. For example, as soon as I was like 8 years old or 9 years old, I would go on a bus alone to a different city all the time, and we would walk in the street alone. And when I was around the age of 12 or 13, my mother went out of the country. And basically she left me in charge of buying all the groceries and making all the food in the house. So basically our father didn't do anything of that because he doesn't even know what a kitchen is. And that was a very interesting experience because I don't think that a lot of boys at a very early age learn to cook, and definitely not have to cook all the food and buy all the groceries.
And I remember a time that my friend came to my house for the first time, and we went from her school, and she was like, wait, your parents are not gonna pick us up by car? And I was like, no, we're gonna walk. And she's like, you can walk to your home? And after it, we got to the house and my mom wasn't there, and she's like, wow, your mom is not in the house? And after it, I was like, are you hungry? Do you want anything to eat? I can make you some boiled eggs. And anyways, I cooked the boiled eggs, and my friend was like, wow, you can cook boiled eggs? And she was in shock. And I was like, wow, I'm actually pretty independent for my age.
So what age was this?
This was like, I think when I was 8 or 7, like it was second grade, yeah. Tell us in the comments if you knew how to make boiled eggs.
Actually,
No,
tell us
at
what age you learned to cook, and what was the first thing you learned to cook?
Yes, that would be interesting. So we know where we're
Was
at.
it rice? Was it boiled eggs? Was it pasta?
By the way, even when my mom came back from overseas, my brother was always the one doing the supermarket shopping. Like I remember all of my childhood, me and my brother went to the supermarket to buy, even when we were like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. My mom didn't need to go to the supermarket.
Yeah, and actually, I think that after my mom came back from overseas, I continued actually to be the one who made all the cooking for the family until maybe a year later when my sister starts to also cook. Now, another interesting thing, from around the time that I was 8 or 9, our mother took us to the library every week or twice a week, and we would take books and read them. And after a while, because we were homeschooled, we would start to read more and more books, and we would go to the library by ourselves. So we would just go sometimes almost every day to the library
Yeah, and at some point we stopped taking them and we just sat in the library for hours, not even on the sofas, but just next to the aisles on the floor and read.
Yeah, we spent many hours just sitting on the carpet and reading like an entire book. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this podcast. Please leave a giant thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and let us know in the comments if you had similar experiences to anything that we described.
Let's tell them, if you reach this point, write watermelon in the comments. That way we're gonna know who's watching us till the end.
And of course, don't forget to subscribe. And we'll see you all next time.
Bye. You see, I'm actually taller than my brother.